So at this point, I would like to go ahead and welcome you to our first set of the series for the SOLIDWORKS Electrical.
I'd like to go ahead and introduce you directly to the SOLIDWORKS Electrical Schematic software. We're going to be getting into three different sections here today. The first being how the software is organized. The second one will be the association, and the third will be the modification. So let's go ahead and get started. With the organization, you can see that we're going to be getting into the browsers. The browsers of the documents here, and we have the browsers of the components. The SQL database will allow us to actually track all of our components here. So just watch for the fact that we'll be seeing some of that here when we get into this section. Okay, let's go ahead and get started on the software. I'm going to go ahead and expand out this section here to show you that what we can do is through organizational aspects, through adding folders, we can organize your project to make it easier to find specific documents. We can also categorize here. As you can see, we've added some reference documents. That's one thing that we can do here is add these reference documents which allow for a highlight or a viewing of the specific documents that you've added for troubleshooting purposes. If you are looking that you do not have internet and you're trying to actually troubleshoot a machine that you've got on site, you could add Excel spreadsheets, you could add PDFs, you can add any of that manufacturer's data directly into the project so that without internet access you have those files available to you. I'm going to go ahead and open up the schematic sheet here. And as you can see, it's just a standard schematic sheet that you've probably seen before, but every piece of this is intelligent. What I'm referring to is the fact that every color of a wire actually has information in it. Every component, every symbol has information in it, and it's all residing in the SQL database. And the database is actually grabbing that information and allowing it to be managed. So it makes it something that you yourself do not have to do. I'm going to go ahead and drop in some wires here and search for some 3-pole. So here I'll drop in a 3-pole relay. And I'm going to look at a location. So here I'm going to grab a location because obviously I can organize this by location so that later on when I'm either working in my 2D or my 3D, whether it's being in my cabinets, my cabinet layouts, or if it's in my 3D models, having everything located by cabinet or by location allows that added capability for filters, for being able to look at specific pieces and having that list already organized for you. Here I'll go ahead and just add this component. We'll do this again here in a minute and I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to add this disconnect, and this disconnect, the contactors, I am going to look for something that we already have. So I have a contactor right here. As we can see, the relay is already being used, but the contactors are not being used in a schematic form yet. Once I associate this, that information is now already there from the metadata that was previously added. I can see from the component tree that I have that information right here. So here is this relay 820, and now you can see that I've got the 3-pole contacts as well as the relay coil. It's also being used in a couple other areas here. I can continue to add more symbols just by grabbing them right here. As you can see, I've got a 3-pole. I am searching by the number 3, which of course becomes very easy to find some of these components, especially if I'm working all in the 3 phase. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab this and just start dropping things in. And if I've already got them associated somewhere in another part of the software, then I do not have to give them a new number. Here I'm going to go ahead and give this disconnect a specific number. So it is going to be a disconnect circuit breaker. Let's do disconnect, and it's going to be 614. when I go to grab the manufacturer's parts, I can go into the libraries here, and these libraries have extensive catalogs available for you during the installation. As you can see, you can filter them out to make it very easy for you to find. Here I'm going to go ahead and just grab a Schneider Electric here. And as you can see, I can grab it based off of the number of circuits. So I know that I need 3 circuits. So I'll go ahead and just grab 3 circuits. And what that does is it gives me now just a filtered list of everything that I'm looking for, and allows me to see that status change depending on my selection. And then once done, that information is right here and now available to me. Alright, so if we look at that, here's our disconnect right here. And again, this information is right here and available. And if I right click on this, I can then go back into the properties and see everything that's actually happening here, including all the information that is being applied through the metadata. Okay, so with our first look of the software, you were able to see that we were able to do some simple project level design, but also management. We were able to look at some visual graphics planning, so you could see that where these components are being dropped at, how they're being dropped, which allows for some resource management as well. The intelligent part libraries. We have quite an extensive list of libraries. Those are reusable data. You do not have to put them into recreate them every time. They are something that is fully reusable, but yet it is in the SQL databases. Also, we've got the reduction in our overall project management. What that's going to allow you to do is have less times being spent in other third-party softwares or on pads of paper, just trying to keep track of where you're using components, how you're using components, what are those components, and on what sheets they are. Okay, Dennis, we're going to go ahead and put up a poll for you.
To these areas, most likely. I've got a couple people that aren't using anything, and then some folks that are using AutoCAD Electrical. Probably some of our future webinars are especially going to be of interest to you when we start talking about leveraging this foundation information into the 3D side. So with that, Sherry, I'll let you take it back for the next section.
Okay. Let me see here now how I get back to showing my screen. All right. So that being the case, we can now continue on. Let's get into the association a little bit more here. I'm going to go ahead and continue with our circuit design on this specific motor here. And what we are going to end up doing is simply getting back here. We'll go ahead and we will drop in a quick transformer. Now you can do things a number of different ways here. You can actually come in here and just type in disconnect. And when you do, actually I'm going to type in breaker here to show you a few more. But you have a number of different things that you can actually select from. Or you can use the previous one that I did there with when we dropped in the motor. Or we also have the possibility of just doing a simple copy-paste. And the copy-paste, what that capability does for us is not only can we do a standard copy-paste, but let me drag my screen over here a little bit. I'm actually on sheet 6 at row 14, and so it is automatically picking up the numbering for that. But what's nice about this copy-paste is not only did it do a copy-paste, but it also created a set of the manufacturer's data. It captured that as well. So you are not having to reassign anything, get back into it, especially if it's the same one. You can continue with your design, and at the same time, if we were to look at that component browser that we have here, you will start seeing that those devices are getting added directly in here. So it becomes very quick, very easy to actually do all of that. So I'm going to continue here with dropping in some contacts, and I am going to find, I can do one contact, but I'm actually going to do 3 contacts because I know I need a 3-phase. So I'm going to grab the 3-phase, 3 contacts here, grab that and drop it in. And when I do, I'm going to go ahead and assign this to that motor starter that I've already got assigned as far as a relay coil. The contacts are not here yet, but so I still have those available. So I'm going to select it to that location, and as you can see, it automatically populates there, and so that association is coming in directly. Now from that, what you will see is that the manufacturer's part has already been assigned to that specific coil, and so I am now populating just the circuitry for those contacts. When I do, it automatically brings that up. I'm going to go ahead here and now go to something called a go-to statement, which is what the SQL database is now allowing us to do. With this, what we can actually navigate through the entire project without actually having to open up the sheet. The software is going to simply open up the sheet for us and take us directly to that specific unit. And when it does, what you will find is that not only is it taking care of the coil and associating those contacts, but the contacts themselves, this is the actual cross-reference for that coil that is automatically populated. So if I were to go ahead now and just draw in a contact, I want to show you that dynamic updating. I am simply going to grab a contact and drop it in and associate it to that same coil, because of course, as you can see from the blue highlight there, we are actually dealing with a spare contact. So I'm going to go ahead now and grab that same relay. When I grab that relay, you can see that the cross-reference is starting to, or will actually populate if I did that correctly. Obviously I did not. I grabbed the wrong symbol because I have IEC as well as ANSI here. So I'm going to grab an ANSI symbol because of course it thinks of it as a secondary device. So it was showing up differently here. I'm going to go ahead and grab that one, and now as you can see, the cross-reference is now populating. If I were to move this device to anywhere on any sheet, you will now see that the cross-reference is actually updating immediately. So I don't have to worry that I am having to update a cross-reference or anything like that. As long as the symbols are the same for the cross-reference, it will go ahead and update that cross-reference for you. Now, I'd like to also look at a secondary type of design that we have. We have a thing called a line diagram, and consider this to be a system overview of the entire project, if you like, or it could be a specific section. But this design will allow you, I should actually say this type of design or a specific drawing will allow you to do design work on your project. So I can just as easily drop in a symbol here, and I'm going to just type in motor. And when I do, I can simply pick this, and it becomes a little bit easier for people that are not electrically orientated to be able to see and understand and follow the schematics without actually having to dig into the schematic. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that 820 motor or 614 motor here and reassociate it. Now mind you, I've already associated the manufacturer's parts, so that entire set of metadata in the library automatically populates this symbol. I could then go ahead and do something like drawing a set of contacts here, or drawing a cable. When I draw the cable, I can then actually detail the cable, I can reserve the cable. In this case, I'm going to go ahead, and I've already got a cable here that I have reserved, and it's got 4 cores. So I'm going to go ahead and associate it, and when I do, the cabling is already available here. I'm going to drop back to my schematic for a second, go back to that sheet because I would like to put in a set of contacts here. Now in the schematic, I'm going to drop in that same set of same set of terminals that were already shown in that previous section in the line diagram. So I'm going to simply drop those in. Very quick, very easy. As you can see, it's populating those terminals in the same terminal strip. Not a problem whatsoever as far as dropping those in. I'm now going to go ahead and detail this cabling. Now, as you can see very quickly, I am actually dropping everything in, and when I do, I can now go ahead and simply go select the connections, and when I do, it realizes that it is now a cable instead of the wires. So connections are very easy. The highlights work very quickly. I can select, and you can see where I'm actually connecting up. Everything is highlighted in yellow as it is working, so that SQL becomes very observant as far as those visuals for you. So you can see my cable here. If I go back to, well, let's just use the go-to. I can use the go-to here and go to that sheet, go to that section. You will see that now my cable is showing those specific cable core relationships. Lastly, the biggest thing of all for this type of section is something we like to consider as an easy button. I can simply number all of the wires in the entire project with a one-button click. It will do all of your three-phase, and it will also do all of your 24 volts or any of that, any of your other type of wiring. So here you will see that I have all the 24 volt wiring done as well as the neutrals. So this ends the second section. So let me show you real quick here. Here's some of the benefits that you can actually get from this. We have some efficient design tools. We have definitely some dynamic project updating, as well as the fact that you're still not having to worry about the component tracking. It does allow for the reducing of that. Okay, Dennis.
Thanks, Sherry. We got another poll up here as we switch to the next topic. Let me launch that quick so that you can answer that while summarize a few things. We're going to ask you how many pages are typically in a project that you're designing today. And as you can see from the information that Sherry just showed, the ability to go from page to page and keep consistency and auditing features in place that are keeping your numbers up to date with changes that you're making or information that you're adding is really a significant benefit out of a tool like SOLIDWORKS Electrical. It's one of the main reasons that a lot of our prospects and existing customers are looking at this solution. Wouldn't you say, Sherry?
Oh, most definitely. In fact, the hyperlinks happen to be one of the main things. Keep in mind that when we are exporting the entire project to a PDF type format, if it's one file, those hyperlinks are still fully functional. So in any type of PDF viewer, whether it be on your iPad, your iPhone, a laptop that is just using a PDF viewer, you can click on those instances and it will take you directly to those. So it looks like we have...
So these are some of the results that we've got here. Pretty good variety. Got some folks that are doing a lot of pages, it looks like. The largest percentage of people that replied are doing more than 20 pages. So huge benefit for you as you're tracking numbering schemes and trying to keep everything in sync with your project in this area. We've got next section coming up here and two more polls yet. Let me hide this one so Sherry, you can get started going back into your next section here.
Okay, my last section is dealing with modifications. And modifications, as we know, there is a number of things that happen, especially while you're designing, that can cause some issues. So I'd like to just jump right into that and grab the sheet here. I'm going to grab a new schematic that we are utilizing here. Let's go to, let's go to the sheet here. So sheet 7. Okay, so we have some things going on here. You can see we have some origin destination arrows. Now, origin destination arrows are always, at least when I remember dealing with them, were always something that just seemed like one of the nuisances that we were having to deal with. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and create some origin destination arrows here. And what's nice about the software is that it allows for that recognition for you. So let me grab, all right, we want to come from this sheet, and I am going to go to the previous sheet on the second page there so that I can get back. I actually can view all of this. Can't change it in this area, but I can actually scroll into the specific area that I'm looking for. And I'm going to go ahead and add some origin destination arrows. Now, what you see is that I am automatically only allowed to select the proper position or same type of wire style for the design. So I can't end up cross-reference or crossing circuitry or power by accident. I can do the same thing again here with the second one. I'll grab that. And this is actually backwards, but I want to be able to show some of this to you. Okay, so it actually bases it from your selections. Those go-to arrows still work the exact same way. Now, one thing that we've got that's nice in this project is we can actually turn on, I don't have it turned on at the moment, but you can actually turn on through our graphics the ability to see equipotential conflicts. So if I turn this on, you will see that I have two big blue arrows. And what that has to do with is the fact that it realizes in the software that even though the wires are the same, the actual wire number is not. And so the software will allow you to solve the equipotential conflicts. You can come in here and it will ask you, which way do you want the wiring to be named? And I would actually like it to be named this N4 rather than N5. And the green wire, I am actually going to change, and I'm going to solve that, but I'm going to actually keep it as 6230. Now, when I go to this go-to, you will see that you did not have to change anything. The software took care of all of the wire numbers throughout the project for you. Here's your neutral and your common. And if I continue on to even the following pages and do that same go-to, you will see that it has transferred it throughout the project. So there's no need to do that audit whatsoever. Second thing that you might end up having to deal with is over on the left-hand side in my document tree, I need to add another sheet. That's always the capability, is that you need to add more sheets because you've got more going on. So you end up very easily here. You can add a new sheet simply by clicking a button. Once you've added it, you can put it anywhere in the project. So I'm going to drop it right here in between these two schematics. So it's really, of course, going to affect all of my numbering. So I'm going to change, first of all, I want to actually add that in there and have it correctly numbered. So I'm going to number the new drawing. I simply select it and renumber it. At the same time, I want the rest of the project to be completely renumbered. So let me go ahead here. I'm going to close page 7 and just open up, let's try page 6. So 6 is still showing us the exact same thing that we had here before. I'm going to go ahead and now update two different things. One, our project, of course, is based off of the numbering of the sheet followed by the row. And then, of course, for wires, it's the instance afterwards, which is 0 here. Or with the devices, I've got it set up so that you can only see a blank if it's the first instance, but it would have an A after it otherwise. I will update the entire set of marks for the project, and this will take the entire project, and sheets 8, 9, and 10 are going to be readjusted as well as all of the cross-references. Now, I am also going to renumber all of the wires that are in the project, so that way I do not have to go back through and make sure of the numbers. Now, because I've got this arrow drawn in this direction, it brought in that new number for me. So I will go ahead here to this Go To and go to Sheet 8. You can see that this is still Sheet 6, but all of my numbering is now matching the new Sheet 8, which used to be Sheet 7. Along with even the cross-references. The cross-references, oops, wrong sheet there. If I go to Sheet 8, Sheet 9, you will see that even the instances here for these motor starters that I had, the cross-reference is still the same. However, all of the instances of the coils are changed, as well as the contacts that are being used in that original sheet. So all of these are now 9s here. So it gives you some definite easy ways of being able to change and modify without really having to do a whole lot. It's a one button easy control. I don't have to worry about, did I mistype it? Did I miss something? Did I not audit this section? Or wasting your time doing all of that. It allows the engineer to be more of an engineer and less of an auditor or a data entry person. Dennis.
Sherry, that's a great point right there, because I know in talking to prospects and customers, that's one of the things that we hear over and over again, that electrical engineers really didn't get into this career path to become document creators. But it's a necessary evil, and I think today you're starting to see some of the benefits that we offer that can take a little bit of that evil and make it maybe not as scary any longer. I'm going to launch another poll here, and what we're asking you here is the amount of time that you spend doing this type of work, managing numbers, page numbers, so forth, things that have to be initially added, and then those items, of course, that are often the same item that gets updated, as Sherry showed some good examples of cutting in pages and adding other devices that affect the numbers you start with. So we'll look for the feedback on that and put it up here. And as we wind down, we have a couple more slides here yet and one more poll. As you are waiting here, start to think about maybe some other topics that you'd like to see presented in this webinar series. We have 4 of them, including this one, out on our calendar right now, but we have plans for another series as the summer goes on. We'd like to get your feedback here at the end as to what you'd like to see in some of these other webinars coming up. Got a few more people to hit on the poll yet, and then we'll share that as we wind down here. Give it another 10 seconds here, and then share those results. 4, 3, 2, 1. Last of the folks are coming in there. I'm going to close the poll and share those results for you. So you can see that it went off the screen for me. Sherry, is it on there yet?
Yes, it is up.
Okay. See that there was a good percentage. It flashed by pretty quick on my end. Looks like 3 to 4 hours is the predominant amount of time that people are spending on managing that type of numbering systems there. So we hope that this has been helpful information for you. The amount of time as well, when you start to look at the benefits that Sherry's been outlining, that time that you're spending doing that, we're finding with SOLIDWORKS Electrical is typically 80 to 90% of it's going away because of the system, like Sherry said, the easy management of it, it's doing that work for you in the background so that you don't have to worry about it. I think that we have a couple more slides yet, Sherry.
Actually, just yours, Dennis. So if you
All right,
go ahead
and hide the poll here. And what we're going to do here at the end is just wrap up with some benefits that you can take away for your management, as well to share with about what you learned today, the benefits to your company overall. These are things that we're seeing from existing customers that are moving into a tool to automate electrical design work. And it kind of boils down to 2 or 3 main key points that we see over and over again with every customer. the productivity increase that they achieve using a tool like SOLIDWORKS Electrical, the quality that they gain by using it, because you're getting consistency with the items that are in the bullet points there, the best-in-class standards that you're able to use over and over again, documenting libraries, projects, and such that are there as a resource moving forward. So that also helps you do your work faster. And then what every management person these days seems to be striving for is, we're hearing, over and over again, that the economy is turning around, especially in the way of automation equipment. A lot of our customers are having to turn work away because their shop floors are filled and their staffing is maximized for the year here already. What would it mean to your organization if you're able to turn around a lot of this work quicker and still maintain the level of quality that you would expect, or even improve on that? And that seems to be getting the attention of a lot of management. So if you see some value in a tool like this, feel confident that I think your management team is going to see the value as well. And feel free to jot this information down. So with that, I guess we'll see if there are any questions that we've got to go forward here. I've got one on, Sherry, this would probably be for you. How much time is involved in setting up a system like SOLIDWORKS Electrical?
Actually, it's not that bad. It's a matter of, are you wanting to use your own symbols, or are you wanting to be able to use the symbols that are in the library? If you've already got a set of symbols that you use in a previous CAD system, you can simply import those, and with a couple of extra mouse clicks, you can actually make them into intelligent SOLIDWORKS electrical models, so that those symbols can be used throughout the project. And with a little help from us, you've got just a project template that is created for your title blocks, and that's created one time. Once it's created once, you would simply use that over and over again. So it's really not that bad as far as the actual implementation time. And the way it works is that you can actually start working from the software after you've had the 2-day training class. By the time you're done with that class, you can start designing, and then we can help assist you through the title block and project template. And during the class, we actually show you how you do the importing of your symbols, the symbols themselves from your libraries. I hope that answers that
Good
question.
overview, Sherry. Yep, I think if not, you can feel free to follow up with any questions to myself or Sherry. If you don't have our email address, you can use Sherry, C-H-E-R-I, at desai-solutions.com. One more question, and I think I can probably handle this one. How does the 2D go into the 3D? We're actually doing another webinar on that specific topic. So look at the calendar of activities that were emailed out earlier this week. We'll have some follow-up emails as reminders going out as these come down the road. And we do have that topic on our agenda. So the last poll question that I've got here that I want to show real quickly, and then we'll let you guys go and get your lunch or back to work. Or, well, not a great day, so I don't imagine anybody's going to be going out to the golf course here this afternoon, but maybe you have something else to do on a Friday afternoon. What type of topics would you like to see covered? We have a few choices here that we're thinking about, but again, if you've got something else in mind, pick that other option, and then feel free to jot down my email and send that over to myself, and we'll compile the list of interests that we have going forward here. And this is a multiple choice as well, so if there are things, a lot of things in this list that you'd like to see, feel free to pick multiple entries. Sherry, anything else that you'd like to wrap up with as folks finish this up?
Not really at this point. You know, just looking forward to the next webinar that we will be doing. As far as doing some more work with that. And then we should be able to hopefully be able to answer more questions that anyone actually has dealing with the software, because of course it is pretty fragmented as far as only dealing with this specific section. So I'm sure there are questions that get brought up that, you know, can it do this extra piece of software? Can it do these other types of things? We will be addressing those in the specific webinars, and hopefully by the end of the session it will pretty much touch on anything that anybody is requesting.
Yep, that's our goal here, and we got some good feedback on other areas that everybody's interested in, so appreciate that. And we'll look at getting those incorporated on the agenda after we finish these next 3 that are coming up. I want to thank everybody for their time this afternoon, and again, hope that you have a good remainder of the day and enjoy your weekend. We look forward to talking with you here with any other questions or follow-up moving forward. Thanks for joining us.